Grandma Arbuckle and Garfield, this sweet potato lasagna is all for you. In Garfield's Thanksgiving, Grandma Arbuckle's sweet potato recipe is pretty simple. It's sweet potatoes, a cup of butter, a cup of brown sugar, and a bunch of marshmallows. Sounds delicious, but I wanted to take it one step further for you guys, and I'm gonna add a couple of twists. So the first twist is obviously it's gonna be vegan. The second twist is I'm gonna do it kind of like a lasagna because lasagna is Garfield's favorite food. And the third twist is I'm gonna use these purple sweet potatoes. Now, I'm also going to use the regular sweet potatoes, and you can totally use all the regular sweet potatoes if you can't find the purple sweet potatoes, but these two together I thought would be absolutely beautiful. There is absolutely no magic to roasting these sweet potatoes. You just want to pop them onto a baking sheet like this, lined with some parchment paper. They're going to go into a 400-degree oven for about 45 minutes. Or rather, I'm going to check them after 45 minutes. If they need a few more minutes in the oven, no big deal. We'll just pop them back in there. So, oh gosh, look how big this one is. Now that is a purple sweet potato. So this is how many I'm gonna need for my casserole, and it's gonna be a fairly small casserole. I will definitely put the right measurements in the description box down below because I know there's nothing more frustrating than to be like, wait, he's got like 3 of the normal sweet potatoes and 2 of the purple potatoes. How many cups does that make? I will put the accurate measurements in the description box, so don't you worry. Now, you will need to set aside either 1 or 2, depending on the size of the casserole that you make. Set aside 2 raw sweet potatoes, 1 of the normal orange ones, and then 1 of the normal, or the purple ones. And I did get rid of a little bit of the flesh there, or the little bit of the skin. Oh, it's even dyeing my finger. So you can see just how purple the flesh of that purple sweet potato is. So I'm really thinking this is gonna be absolutely gorgeous. Okay, 400-degree oven, 45 minutes to start with. Let's get these things going. While my potatoes are in the oven, I wanna do a few things that'll help me prepare for when we're going to build our Grandma Arbuckle's sweet potato lasagna later. So in this bowl, it looks like a mess, but what I have in here are some pecan pieces, and then it's some rolled oats. And what I did with my rolled oats was I popped them into the food processor before I added them to the pecan pieces, and I zhuzhed it around for maybe like 5-10 pulses. What I was going for was kind of like a half oat flour and then half just rolled oat pieces. I think that makes for a really nice texture for this. Okay, so that's what that is. See, you can see everything's all nice and combined a little bit. And then we're going to add some spices. I've got cinnamon and salt. The salt is actually pretty important for this. It really helps. Ooh, look at that poof of cinnamon. And then, of course, we cannot do this without brown sugar. And then we mix that around. You might be thinking, oh, that's a lot of brown sugar, but I'm not putting refined or brown sugar into the sweet potato mash. This is the crumble, and that's kind of the only place where there's really sugar. Now I do have some other kind of maple syrup in the other parts, but hey, you know, whatever. Okay, so that's that. Now, to make our crumble come together, I've got vegan butter. Just pour that in there, and we will mix that all together. So what I do after you get all this mixed together is pop it into the refrigerator. And then what happens is it kind of solidifies, and it's so much easier to actually break into little crumbles when it's time to put our lasagna together. So we'll get this really well mixed and then into the fridge to kind of harden up. Now let's make a few more things. So this is orange juice. And in this orange juice, I zested the orange itself and popped it in there. You really can't see it, and I don't think I did a really good job zesting, but that'll add a lot of extra flavor. And then to that, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla. Now, this is what we're going to add to our purple sweet potatoes to kind of sweeten them up and give them a little flavor. Now, to our regular sweet potato mix, we're going to add something a little different. I've got maple syrup here, and then freshly grated, what is that? Ginger. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. Fresh ginger. So we'll mix that around. Sorry, I don't have my spoon with me. Let's mix it around like that. Okay. All right, you use your hands when you have to. So what we're gonna do with this is I'm actually gonna pop it very low into the microwave for like 30 seconds. And what that'll do is it'll just soften up that ginger a little bit so that when we add it to the sweet potatoes, it'll be a little less, harsh. I want it to kind of melt into the sweet potatoes with the maple syrup and not kind of be like, oh, I just got a chunk of ginger. Don't judge too harshly, but I have no recollection of Garfield's Thanksgiving debut on network television. But that's probably because it was 1989, I was a teenager, and I had definitely already traded Garfield and Smurfs and G.I. Joes and Barbies for New Kids on the Block and Debbie Gibson. A couple of things strike me funny about Garfield's Thanksgiving. Even though Grandma Arbuckle shows up to make the entire meal, she's not sitting down with John and having Thanksgiving. It's a family affair. She's just making the meal and then zooming on out. Instead, John is on a date with Garfield's veterinarian, and that makes me think too. I'm like, why isn't the veterinarian having Thanksgiving with her family? I know. Completely overthinking a cartoon. But anyways, I have found Garfield's Thanksgiving on YouTube. I'm gonna post the link down below so you can see Grandma Arbuckle's recipe, you can see John's date and how it turned out, and I'd love to know if you agree with me. The 2 minutes that Grandma Arbuckle was in this cartoon, she is the scene stealer, and I think she deserves her own cooking show. Our sweet potatoes are out of the oven, and I just want to take a second to marvel at the beauty of these purple sweet potatoes. Trust me, the entire dish is going to be delicious, but I have a feeling it's going to be these purple sweet potatoes that are going to have whoever you're serving this to talking and asking you, where did you get those? And how do you make those purple? Did you put food dye in those? No, it's all natural and they're deliciously sweet, actually. So let's get going. Oh, so when you get your sweet potatoes out of the oven, let them cool down, and then you can see just how easily those jackets pull apart. Same deal with the purple sweet potato. You just want to pull them apart like that. See how gorgeous that is? Oh my gosh. And then what you can do is you just can kind of break them up in your bowl because we're going to mash them now. Okay, so for purple sweet potatoes, we are going to add our orange juice, our orange zest, and our vanilla mixture right there. Let's go ahead and take our potato masher. Oh gosh, let's see. So I find purple sweet potatoes to be a little dry. You know what I'm gonna use here? I'm gonna use a fork. And if you think that they're coming out a little dry or not as creamy as you want, I do have some almond milk on standby that you can use. You can also mix in a little vegan butter, and that can help also. So I like mine not to be super smooth, but you go right ahead if you feel like you want to go ahead and put yours in a food processor or something like that. I like it a mixture. I like it smooth with a few chunks. So a potato masher usually does the trick for me. Okay, got that. And then onto our orange sweet potatoes. And we've got this is our, what do we have? Maple syrup and ginger mixture that we're gonna add in there. Ooh, that is delicious. Okay. Gives us two nice flavors that go really well together. And so, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna contaminate the two. What I was gonna do is wash off my masher before I dunked it into the orange sweet potato. But like I said, I don't think I got much of a mash going there with the purple sweet potato. So, oh yeah, that's mixing much easier. So you just mash this around, and you'll want to get both of them into the consistency that you like before we go to the next step and kind of put everything together. So how exactly do we turn Grandma Arbuckle's sweet potatoes into lasagna? Well, just go with me here. The mash is going to be our sauce. The crumble that we made is going to be our meat, or in vegetarians and vegans case, this is our soy crumbles. The cheese, the always fabulous Trader Joe's marshmallows, vegan. And then for the noodles, remember those potatoes I told you to save earlier? Well, I just sliced those up. Now, I did cut my slices a little too thick, so I popped it into the microwave for about a minute 15, just to loosen them up and make them nice and wiggly, so everything will cook at the same rate. Now, I didn't just do this to kind of keep going with the lasagna theme. I actually think that the layers that we're going to build in there is going to help separate the orange and the purple potatoes, so when you dig in, it's going to be nice and beautiful. After it's done baking, pull it out of the oven, pull off the tin foil, and then cover it with a bunch more marshmallows and let those broil for about a minute. Definitely keep a close eye on it, because I think that vegan marshmallows brown a little bit faster than normal marshmallows. And check out what you get. How awesome does that look? So I cannot wait to dig into this, because guess what? I was all about the layers. And there they are. There's the purple sweet potato, there's the orange sweet potato, and all the deliciousness around it. I am so excited with how this came out. And I just, you know what? I know it's gonna be delicious, so why am I nervous? It is my first time making this though. Now, this is probably a good time to bring up the fact that probably the funniest part of Garfield's Thanksgiving is that Garfield goes on a diet the day before Thanksgiving. Throughout most of my life, I thought, that's nuts. Who would go on a diet the day before Thanksgiving? And then the 40s hit, and you're like, oh, I get it. But my diet starts after Thanksgiving this year, because Grandma Arbuckle's sweet potato lasagna is worth it. Happy holidays, everybody.